What's up, Chad? What you doing? Give everybody just a second to come on into the stream here as we get up on all platforms, green check marks across the board. Here we go. Broncos country, what is up? Wednesday night. Let's give everybody just another second or two, stretch their legs, come on into the show. That's right, this show, where one half of the show predicted the upset that occurred last Sunday in Philadelphia. Tom, Broncos country, man, they're riding high right now. London, it's here. New York Jets, the Broncos are across the pond, if you will. We've got tons of Broncos country that cannot wait for this first international contest, and life is pretty good here in Broncos country as we sit Wednesday, October 8th in this year, 2025.
Yeah, I mean, what a win. Like, it was, that's the kind of win that you really need as a team where the Denver Broncos are right now. Losing seasons for a while, getting some success, not really having that statement win, so to speak, the big one. And, I mean, we may find out that the Eagles aren't as good as their record was, down the road, but that was still a statement win. And it's something that they really needed as a team to kind of lift them to that next level, both mentally and, within the media and things like that, which is not as important for sure.
No, a 21-17 win over the reigning champs who were undefeated at the time. What a fun game to watch, right? Let's just start there. I mean, I think it, at one point could have gone one or two different ways, and the Broncos kept fighting. And this is something that we need to see from this team. It's not over yet. We need to see much more of it, but we're going to get into that. We're getting into Broncos Eagles leftovers. We're going to get into the news of the day. A current Denver Bronco won Defensive Player of the Week for the very first time in his career. Who is he and how did he get there and where's he going? We'll let you know here in just a little bit in the show. We also have to get to the injury report. We've got New York Jets in London, and then the Broncos have a defensive starter that is finally returning to action. We're going to get to all of that and more, but before we do, who are we? We are MHI. He's Thomas Hall. I'm Luke Patterson. You can catch us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain talking about your Denver Broncos. And let's just get into it. Let's get into some Broncos Eagles leftovers. Tom, I don't know if you saw this, but Philly fan has a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth, right? Some sour milk, if you will, sour grapes, whatever we got to say. They're complaining that if it weren't for the referees who just gave the Broncos the game, that Philly would still be undefeated. Now, I take the Sean Payton approach of there's no apologies for winning this league ever, and the Eagles had their chance to put their foot on the Broncos' throat. It just never happened. So when I'm opening up social media and I see Sean Payton is taking a victory lap, a literal victory lap in the team buses in downtown Philadelphia, one, I think that's probably not the smartest thing to do, Coach. Maybe not very safe. And two, I absolutely love it. Club Dub, let those birds know.
Yeah, no, I don't care if they're whining about the refs or whatever. Teams definitely get the wrong calls at times. It happens, but you're right. The Philadelphia Eagles could have won that game, but they didn't. I mean, they had opportunity after opportunity. There was a lot of mistakes on their part, but the Broncos also played really, really well in that fourth quarter, and that's what won the game. And that's how you win in this league. You keep it close, and then you come up with something in the fourth quarter. That's how a lot of these wins happen. So I don't care if they're whining and crying about it. We've seen poor calls go against our teams all the time. It's the thing that happens. Just live with it and, figure it out later.
Yeah, you look at Bo Nix in the fourth quarter and what he did, what this Vance Joseph led defense did in Philadelphia. And you look at Sean Payton, and I think Sean needs to get his fair share of credit for what happened in Philadelphia and an upset win, because when you just throw that 2-point conversion out there like you've been planning for it all along, and maybe he was, I don't know. But, Tom, I couldn't believe it. I was watching the game with my wife. I look at her, and she looks at me, and she goes, "Are they going for two?" And before I could even begin to process what was happening, Tom, the Broncos are in the end zone yet again. A successful 2-point conversion all of a sudden. I mean, it wasn't just a few weeks ago we were talking about Sean needs to throw out the script, and maybe he still does, but we're finally seeing Sean Payton being able to adjust adapt, and overcome. You're seeing his players do that too. I think Sean going for 2 inspired this football team. It says, I trust you guys. We're in this together, backs against the wall. And nobody believed in them except for the guys in the sideline. Of course, yours truly, I believed in them. I always do, right? But no, man, the Eagles, they weren't supposed to win that game. And you get to, instead of celebrating, coming home to Denver, right? You hop on a plane across the Atlantic and you've got a business trip with the New York Jets. Now, Tom, the worst part of the Broncos beating the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday in Philly, they lost Ben Powers. Tom, talk to me about the bicep injury by one Ben Powers. He flew back to Denver immediately after the Philly game. You can read about it over at milehighhuddle.com. He had surgery on a bicep. The team hopes to have him back by December. Tell me a little bit about Ben Powers and what his loss is going to mean this Sunday in London.
Yeah, well, he's going to be out for quite a while. And even though I'm a huge Alex Palczewski fan, as you know,
your guy,
even if they go with Palczewski or they go with Pert, it's a downgrade. And you've got the 2 guards were solid, bookending a weak link in the middle when you got Wattenberg. So now you're going to have Wattenberg and a backup. It does not bode well. Now, I still think that they're going to be okay because they have a pretty solid offensive line, and I like that they're the 2 backups that they're either going to, one of them is going to go in there. But it also, not only that, it also generates more of a conundrum when it comes to who they're going to activate, because Palczewski was the swing. He would do the tackle guard duties if he needed to as a backup. Now they're going to have to either activate Frank Crum or they're going to have to pull someone up from the practice squad and activate him, which means somebody else is going to be sitting without their uniform on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's interesting, to bring up Frank Crum to potentially replace Alex Palczewski, your guy, by the way, right? I mean, a couple training camps ago, you're like, I'm telling you, Luke, the developmental offensive lineman, watch this guy. And you're right, man. He's been a big part of the Broncos running the football, right? I'm not going to act like he should be getting a starting gig without an injury happening or anything like that. But he's been a serviceable player. You need all the help you can get. Makes you wonder if Calvin Throckmorton's going to get the call up. But Frank Crum is a swing tackle. That could be something to watch for. David Yonkin, an exclusive member of the MHH community, is kicking us off with a super chat tonight. Very first one in the room, as usual. It's hard to beat David, folks. He can't get enough of his Denver Broncos on Wednesday night. Congrats to Nik Bonitto. Just imagine what the Broncos could do if they played all 4 quarters of a game. And David's obviously referencing Nik Bonitto, Tom, for the very first time in his NFL career, earned AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Week 5 versus Philly, 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, and 3 quarterback hits. Nik Bonitto just also happens to be the sack leader in the NFL with 7 right now, right? He's getting up there. He's odds for him being the defensive player of the year are pretty favorable. What are you seeing from Nik Bonitto 5 weeks in, and what should Justin Fields look out for here in week 6?
Well, it's funny. I went back and I was listening to some of our older podcasts, Luke, and came across the one where we were talking about Nik Bonitto before he got his contract. And I said that he is on the verge of becoming a premier pass rusher. And lo and behold, here he is becoming a premier pass rusher. And he really is. I mean, he is, it's not just that he gets to the quarterback either. I mean, that's what you need to do in this league. But he was out in coverage, made a great open field tackle in the 4th quarter. He was making plays when they needed him to make plays in the 4th quarter. And that's what makes you a premier guy. It's not just sack numbers. It is making those plays that you have to make as the star of the defense. And that's what he's becoming, the star of the defense. And that's what he did in the Eagles. And I think it wasn't for him, they probably would not have won that game, because most of his production really came late in that game and kept the Broncos within reach there until they finally won it at the end. So I was so impressed with his overall play last weekend.
Me too. And so is Naomi weighing in on Facebook, guys. You can catch us on multiple platforms. We appreciate wherever you're streaming the pod. That's YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. We appreciate everybody. And head on over to YouTube and become an official MHH member and subscribe to all of our shows. We've got one every single day of the week. It's a lot of fun. And the Broncos season is off and running. Yeah, back in the win column. How about that? 2-game winning streak for the first time all year. Won your very first road game. And what is it? Are the Broncos technically the home team in London? How ridiculous, yes. Right? It's another it's another road game for the Broncos, a road game for the Jets, if you will. They haven't been there, I think since 2022. Was it high knees on the plane? Was that it?
Yeah,
the Jacksonville Jaguars. So everyone acts a little surprised that Sean doesn't want to do the sightseeing thing. He doesn't want to go to the bridge and all that sort of stuff. He wants to get in and get out. And I'm all about it because the last time the Broncos were in London, man, it was a circus. But then you also look at the Jets and you look at, the last time Justin Fields and Sean Payton squared off, Justin Fields got the better of the Denver Broncos here in Denver. Scott and I were witness to it. We were at the game for the meet and greet, right? Like Justin Fields walks away with the winner, the game. Steelers fans rejoice. Russ is holding a clipboard. My, how times have changed, right? And now, obviously, in a weird twist of fate, Justin Fields replaces Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets, and Aaron Rodgers, right, replaces Justin Fields with the Steelers, and Russell Wilson somewhere in New York Giants land hanging out. It's odd, man. It can only be the NFL. I don't know. Did you see Joe Flacco on the move? Apparently,
yeah,
he's the new starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, who wouldn't fly in first class. There are pictures out there on social media of Joe Flacco flying just like you and I, Tom. Economy.
Yeah. No, I saw it all. Yeah. You wouldn't expect anything less from the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they have been known as a cheap organization for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, it's when I want to go back to talking a little bit about what the Broncos have in front of them. You know, we're talking about the Jets. We're talking about their first kind of road win. If you look at their next 6 games,
stop it.
No, I can look ahead. They can't look ahead.
Stop it, Tom.
They have an opportunity to go into their bye with a 9-2 record. I'm going to say it right now. They can. That is actually doable. I'm not going to jinx them. I'm not part of the team. If they were out there saying it like Singleton was talking, nonsense before the season started, that's on them. I'm just some guy, It's
no, Tom, this is on you. And Mike Thompson and I are going to put this on you, an exclusive member. This is a win. A lot of non-believers in that roundtable, right? I feel like Coach Prime getting like, you don't believe in all week. No, man, sometimes you just get lucky, right? I miss all the time. It's like the Broncos are going to win every single week, right? Because that's we want them to, but it was great, man. It was a great game. Keith and I think we're the only ones to pick Denver going into Philly, and shocker, we didn't have a blowout, right? We didn't have a Broncos blowout win. We got out of there, and I think I even said the Broncos escape with a win, and that's exactly what they did. And it's hard not to live in the past, especially when the Broncos haven't beat a quality opponent like that in a really long time, Tom. So that's why I'm getting a little upset at you for saying, if you look at the rest of the schedule, they could be 9-2 by the bye. And it's just
time to believe, man.
It's time to believe. Well, then I better see you believe on the Mile High Roundtable every Friday morning. You can catch our predictions at milehighhuddle.com. And Tom usually does quite well for himself when picking the Broncos games. I struggled just a little bit, but I was on it last week. Shocker. I'm not going Jets, Tom. I'm not going Jets. Usually everybody loves a tease, but I don't think we need to tease the New York Jets roundtable to Friday morning. Phil McLaughlin, always a tease over on Facebook. What's up, Phil? Good evening, Thomas, Luke, and Deacon Scott. Great to see Sean Payton stick with the run game. Can you imagine how much the Broncos would be scoring if they played 4 quarters? Man, Broncos country wants more. This is our second super chat, our second member of Broncos fan, our MHH community coming in here tonight saying, man, if they can turn it on like that for just 1 quarter, can you imagine? And not to be telling any tales out of school, but 3 keys to victory are coming out tomorrow morning. I highlight a specific area of the run game, something I want to see this Sunday in London that the Broncos haven't done. J.K. Dobbins, Tom. Talk to me about J.K. Dobbins. What a breath of fresh air. He fits in swimmingly to the Denver Broncos' rich running back history. Does he get over 1,000 yards this season?
Well, the big worry is the injuries, and so let's hope he doesn't get injured. If he doesn't, yeah, I think he might. He has a good shot at it. I still want them to. I want them to split the carries a little bit, even though he's the better runner right now. I want them to give him. He needs to be there for the playoffs. I want him there for the playoffs. If that means sacrificing a little bit of stats for him, fine, so be it. But yeah, the way he's running right now, he's definitely got a shot at it. I love that pickup. I love the way he's running. He's so patient.
5.2 yards per carry, 21 first downs. I mean, the dude is effective. Everybody looks at the 402 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tom, for me, man, my favorite stat I like to see, it ain't even the average per carry. It's the first downs. How often can we lean on this specific player? No other offensive player on the Denver Broncos have scored more than J.K. Dobbins, sans the quarterback. I mean, he is quite literally the MVP of this offense, quarterback Bo Nix aside.
No, he is. And it's so nice to know that you have a reliable running back there who can get yards, and Sean Payton will give him the ball. That's been a lot of the problem is that Sean Payton wasn't giving the ball to the running backs, wasn't making the play calls for it at the very least. So now he is, which is good. They have had a much more balanced run versus pass. And a lot of that has to do with J.K. Dobbins. So I'm happy as can be with that pickup, but I really, I'm still knocking on wood. He needs to remain healthy for the season because he has a long history of injuries. So let's make sure, let's hope he stays healthy throughout the playoffs.
Well, speaking of health, we're going to get into the injury report as the Denver Broncos take the New York Jets to school. Hopefully, that's the plan this Sunday, right? I mean, Bo got up there today and he's like, look, dude, you can't look at things as a trap game. That's totally disrespectful in this league. And you take a look at what happens on a week-in-week basis. I challenge anybody, just sign up for a free pick'em or take a good old scratch piece of paper out and pick this week's games and see how accurate you are by the time Monday Night Football is over. It is truly the league of parity. That's why the NFL is king, right? I know some other sports just happen. Hockey's out there. Got a lot of Avs fans. Yay, the Avs. No, the Broncos are good. All right, the Broncos just beat the world champs. We got to put something together here. They have a chance to do something special, and it started in Philadelphia. Remember the win streak that Sean took them on, 4 or 5 games last year? It started down here in Tampa. Right. And then went to the Jets. And how about that game last year? Talk about a game to forget. Broncos Jets in Jersey. It was a rainy, dreary day. There was only 1 touchdown scored all game, I believe, or something like that. It was just weird. The Broncos ended up escaping. But I hope it's a quick in and out, man. If it's a blowout, great. If they win by 1 point, I don't think we should be panicking. It's different every single week. And let's say what's up to some of our friends in the chat. Pearl is always coming in here on Wednesday. What's up, Pearl? String Guy, another exclusive member of our MHH community. Roy Osborne's pumped to see you boys next weekend at the meet and greet. Back-to-back New York games, Tom. Talk about that, man. The Big Apple getting all kinds of love from the Mile High City.
Yeah, that's two teams that you don't want to overlook, but they're definitely winnable games. So I think it's great to have a 0-5 team that you have to travel to London for, come back and then play the Giants at home. That's going to set you up nicely for the next few games as you go into the mid part of the season.
Tom, talk to me about trades. We love it. And I think we can't get enough of it as NFL fans. Something about fantasy football coming into, the world the last 20, 30 years and just the surprising effect that's had on the game in general and for better, for worse. We can get into that. But people are wondering, how do the Denver Broncos get better? And if you want to know, you can head on over to milehighhuddle.com. Tom's got a few articles up right now. One of which, Tom, you're suggesting the Broncos go out and trade for a player. Who are you suggesting the Broncos go get? Because I got my guy Jake in here saying, look, man, Evan Ingram, nice to see you for once, right? But you're not quite the joker we thought you were yet. Maybe Broncos go get a Mark Andrews. What do you think, Tom? Who do you want Sean Payton to pick up the phone and go get?
Well, if you want to read the article, it's Eric McCoy. It's a center for the Saints. He drafted him back in 2019. He's got a huge cap hit coming up on a team that's going nowhere with a massive cap problem. So why not pick up the phone and see if you can he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's an upgrade at center by any metric you want to look at. Why not go out and see if you can get someone like that from the Saints? Because taking him off of their books pretty much, it doesn't quite fix their cap problem, but it makes them just slightly over the cap from what I'm seeing with the spot rack and all of those guys. So why not pick up the phone? It's not going to be too costly. I mean, you look at a similar situation last year when the trade for the left tackle there from I'm drawing a blank. It was a pretty easy trade with a couple late round draft picks. Give it a shot. It's an upgrade in a position that you need, especially now that Ben Powers is going to be on the shelf.
Your article dropped before the Ben Powers injury, right? Like when I was, and then as soon as I heard he tore his bicep, I was like, well, you got no choice. You guys got to go over to milehighhuddle.com and read Tom's article and go get this guy, because look, we can keep camouflaging and we can be like some of the other radio stations and podcasts and tell you, hey, I got an orange and blue hat on and everything's okay. Luke Wattenberg's all right? Calvin Throckmorton, everybody, we're good. But no, you've got a lot more vulnerability right up the middle. And the New York Jets, say what you want about them, man, but those Williams brothers, I know only one of them will be playing, the big defensive tackle, Quinnen, I believe. I mix them up. It's Quinnen and Quincy. And I think Quinnen Williams is the big cat that gives me nightmares in my sleep. For years, he's gotten after the Broncos inside line. I don't know what it is, man. He does quite well. So you're going to have a few issues. And I want to get to Will, man. William Catalano, another one of those Broncos fans in here, shows up all the time on Wednesday nights. And we like to debate on this show. We like to have fun, and we like to discuss differing takes. And if you've got beef, if you've got a disagreement, if you want to take a victory lap, let us know, because that is the fun part of sports. And William is teeing off saying, look, man, I was one of those cats that didn't think Nik Bonitto was going to be very good when they drafted him. Boy, was I wrong. I'm glad that he shut me up. Will, you were right to think so, because I was right in the trenches with you. Tom, I remember coming on air with you and being like, really? Our first pick in the draft, our second rounder, the first thing we hear about him out of George Payton's mouth is he's got to get in the weight room? Forgive me if that is very underwhelming and in a welcome to the NFL in Denver moment, but boy, has Nik Bonitto turned it around. Maybe there's another name that hasn't been mentioned along with Nik Bonitto today. George Payton, obviously selecting Nik Bonitto before Sean's arrival. How big of a home run did George Payton see in Nik Bonitto from a raw prospect potential standard looking at the draft, Tom? Because I didn't see it.
He took a chance, really. He took a chance on his athleticism and his potential. And the one thing that you take a chance on is whether or not these guys are going to work hard enough to do what it takes to get to realize their potential. And that's what Bonitto did. He has gotten better each year. He's went out and perfected his craft. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten bigger. He's done everything that's necessary to do to get better. And you can't ever tell if someone's going to be a Paxton Lynch and not try to get better at all, or someone who's going to really go out there and put the effort in. And unfortunately, Peyton was rewarded by Bonitto going out there and doing what it takes. Now Bonitto is rewarding Peyton by he can go, yeah, look at this. He might be the sack leader this year. He's already won. He might be the defensive player of the year if he continues. That's a pretty big feather that he can put in his cap and say, yeah, I drafted him when no one else believed in me.
Well, and how about the genius of the Broncos ownership group, including Sean and George, to lock him down, right? I mean, you get ahead of these deals, Tom. It's something you were worried about all summer, and we were arguing, right? And I'm like, man, I got to see more out of Nik Bonitto first. You got to show me, put something together. Well,
what would it be right now? What do you think if they waited until now? What do you think,
dude? Like you could. Let me ask you, Tom. I mean, per game, what do you think his value would have gone up? $5 million a year per game thus far? I mean, that's the average we're kind of looking at. So to get out and get ahead of these things, and he's not the first one. He was just the next one. And that's the beautiful part of what the Broncos and the front office is doing right now. Again, you draft and you develop. You look at Pat Surtain, you get in front of it. Quinn Miners, you get in front of it. Jonathan Cooper, you get in front of it on a team-friendly deal. I mean, I hear you. It wasn't at all comparable to what Nik got. But again, two different players, a complimentary player in his own right. It's exciting, man. It's exciting to see the Broncos finally get ahead of the times a little bit, try to think 2 steps ahead instead of being in reaction mode, which is what happens when you've got massive turnover at the head coaching position, at the quarterback position. And I got to tell you, Tom, Vance Joseph, I can't figure Vance Joseph out. I for whatever reason, I still have VJ PTSD, and I don't know what he could do to make me feel better. He's doing great. The Broncos run defense, Tom, is improving. Each game they're getting better. Saquon Barkley hasn't rushed for 100 yards yet. I was sure this was going to be the game that was broke, Tom. Yet this Broncos defense continues to show up. The secondary and the pass rushers, they need to time things up a little better because Riley Moss, man, I know he was tired after that game in Philly, and they are going to pick on Riley Moss, the Broncos' opponents, for the rest of the season. But to see this defense be able to adjust, to see them not crumble or point fingers, I got to tell you, Tom, I'm impressed with Vance Joseph and what he's done, and tip of that cap to Sean Payton for believing in him.
Yeah, and for me, Vance Joseph was a great coach, for positional coach, to teach players how to do the right things. And I always found him wanting when it came to making adjustments and play calling during the game. But that Philadelphia game was really quite masterful. I thought that some of those calls that he made, some of the formations that he faked and showed blitz and didn't blitz, and how he's obviously getting, the team is getting to the quarterback with 4 pass rushers. It's been, it's getting me more and more. And I'm with you. I've got Vance Joseph PTSD, but this guy's he has gotten much better at his craft. And I would not be surprised to see him get a head coaching job after this season, just for that purposes. He's gotten so much better at those things that I thought he just wasn't very good at.
How's this for a hot take? Vance goes back to Miami and replaces Mike McDaniel as head coach for the Dolphins. Maybe,
maybe.
I don't know. I think ownership always wants to go defense or offense down there, right? So they've gone defense for so long. They went offense. It didn't quite work out. I'm wondering if, someone else can come in and fix Tua. I don't know, man. And we can get into that, the parity of this league. What's going on with the Ravens? How about the Kansas City Chiefs, Tom? In your face. Kansas City, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love you guys. Go Duval, or whatever the hell it is you guys say. Congratulations. Super excited to see the entire AFC West lose in week 5 as the Broncos climb that ladder in second place. The Chargers sit atop with the tiebreaker. But we're excited, man. David Yonkins excited, dude. Coming in again, Dave. Thank you so much for all the generous support every Wednesday night here on MHI. Do you guys think we get somebody in the trade deadline? Because we didn't last season. David, that's hard for me to say because Sean Payton is so damn stubborn. It takes one to know one, and that's why I love Coach. But for me, man, I can't predict this because when the rest of us were trying to shove Jerry Jeudy out the door for years, Sean refused to just continued to drag his feet on it, ho and hum, and then finally he's gone. Like in the middle of a spring day, right, or a fall day, something like that. He just all of a sudden he's gone, and with Cleveland. And I don't know, Tom, unless Sean sees something that alarms him specifically on the offensive line, I don't see the Broncos making much of a move. Now, Scott's in my ear, and he's bringing up something pretty interesting with that trade deadline looming. Remember, the Broncos' 4th-round pick that they received for Vele, that could turn into a premium pick.
Yeah, what I'm saying, send that 4th pick back to the Saints for McCoy. I think you could get McCoy for actually less. I think you could get it for less.
Yeah, you're playing with house money, dude. So when Scott's telling me that, I was like, dude, that's a really great point. And it's not like Sean doesn't know the phone number to New Orleans, right? It's not like he doesn't know who's down there and wheeling and dealing. And I don't know, man. It's tough, Dave. And David, who do you want? Who do you want to see? Let me know. I'll give you a shout out in the chat. You don't got to throw a super up. We'll give you some support right back, brother. Let me know. You want Mark Andrews? Alvin Kamara's not happening. I can tell you that. That should have happened last year if it was going to. Trey Hendrickson, no, you don't. You're good on the D-line right now, and we're going to get to a returning defender. Mark Andrews, I don't think so. Coach just had, what was his little yelling match with Evan Ingram about? In case people don't know, sometimes that's how men talk to each other. And Evan Ingram needed to get yelled at. Someone needed to yell at him, and it finally produced some points. I don't know, Tom. You see the San Francisco 49ers, they're picking up the phone to call about Max Crosby. I love that. Can we get that man out of the AFC West?
Yeah, no kidding. The difference between what this year and the years past, even with Sean Payton was a seller at the deadline last year, is he truly believes this team has Super Bowl aspirations. He came out and said it. I don't think he's just saying that to, ruffle some feathers. I think he truly believes it. So if he thinks he can improve this team, he is going to go out there and see if he can. He's going to make some phone calls. He's going to bring somebody in. The problem is you have to have willing trade partners. You have to have the willing trade partner that's going to fill a roster spot that you need to improve your team. And that sometimes doesn't always come together. That's why you see very few trades really at the trade deadline. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to trade, we're going to sell the house. And it ends up being, one player gets traded from, like 3 different teams, and that's it. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Sean Payton thinks he can improve this team and make that championship that he's been boasting about even more viable, he is going to do it. And I really think McCoy should be on his radar. I'm not a big I don't think Mark Andrews is going to move the needle that much for this team because they're just not using the tight end as much. I would like to see an inside linebacker, depending on Dre Greenlaw's injury and whether he's going to come back soon or not. But I don't know of one out there that that he's going to be able to go get. To me, what made sense is you got a weak link in the center. Eric McCoy is out there and it's a viable option. So that's why I think that is something that they should definitely explore.
I truly wonder if Sean Payton's ego will allow him to explore the trade market. And I'm serious about that because if he truly believes that, what'd he say? I've had 3 or 4 or whatever teams that I thought could go all the way. And this is definitely one of those teams. If that's the case, then surely you accounted for injury. Surely you're good with the depth of your football team, right? And I worry about that because coach needs to be able to adjust too. Right now he's proven that he is, but there's being confident and there's being risky. And I don't know what Sean's going to be on any given day. I don't think Sean knows what he's going to be any given day. No matter what, he's going to be aggressive, but the outcome ultimately determines if it was a necessary risk or just a balls out, I believe in my guy decision, like the 2-point conversion. And
but
Phil McLaughlin coming in, man. What's up, Phil?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was
Tom.
just going to say the one difference, though, is he drafted McCoy from the Saints. That's his guy from back then. He coached him for a few years. That's one where you could be like, yeah, I don't need to prove Wattenberg is going to be a great center. I already went out and got a pretty good one, and let's bring him in. That's why I'm like, yeah, well, maybe you're right, but
to your point, Tom, just real quick, right? Like, the defender that's just returning today? I'm spacing his name. Malcolm Roach. Another Sean Payton guy, right? So, like, Sean Payton does show a loyalty to his guys. Maybe that helps him get over the hump or at least pick up the phone. Phil, thank you for your patience, brother. Did it seem to you guys that when Bo kept the ball and ran, the atmosphere changed? We need more RPOs to keep the defense on their toes. Damn, Phil, you should be writing keys to victory with rhymes like that. I absolutely love it. That's the thing, man. When Bo is mobile, when he's a dual threat quarterback, the Broncos offense does well because they are not predictable. Now, happy feet aside, right? And they're driving me crazy too. And I'm so sick of hearing about it because Bo knows better, but he should be setting his feet. He set them in the 4th quarter. He set them then. And the accuracy was there. And he is showing improvements. It's interesting. Our guy, Zach Bye, has a poll up over on X right now. So I got to give him credit at Bye's Line. And he asked the question, do the Denver Broncos have their franchise quarterback in Bo Nix, or do you need to see more? When I clicked on it like a few hours ago, it was split 50-50 with almost like 1,000 votes or something like that. So the jury is still out on Bo Nix, folks. But I'm with you, Phil. And athletic Bo Nix, you got to use him. He's not made of glass. He's a pretty big guy. But what I love about Bo, the runner, the most, Bo Nix protects himself, folks. He uses the sideline. He uses the ground. He isn't Pat Mahomes or Baker Mayfield trying to lower shoulders into these defenders, Tom. I do not get it. You see it every single week, and I just don't know if you want to get after a player like the Arizona Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon, what a complete a-hole, by the way, right? You want to get after a guy, get after your quarterback for leaning his throwing arm into a defender. It's something Bo doesn't do. We have to get Bo in space. Now, I don't need Bo just running for heaven's sakes just because it's the Jets and we all want to see Bo pad his stats for our fantasy teams. I want to see the Broncos build in this New York Jets game. I'm not saying it's going to be a scrimmage. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. But the Broncos have a real chance in London, Tom, to fine-tune their offense, to see what it's like with a new offensive lineman at the right guard position. What can you do with Luke Wattenberg to supplement and fortify the middle? All of these things can start this Sunday morning in London.
Yeah. I'll tell you the thing that I want to see that's going to make Bo, that's going to blow this offense into the next level, is to hit those deep passes that he's been missing.
Why can't has he been missing them? Has he been missing them? Because
he's been missing them. He is a little off on those passes. And if he was hitting those passes, people will be talking about this offense as being elite, because you'd have several of these big plays that he just missed by a little bit. And that's what I want to see happen. I don't want my quarterback out there running the ball. I don't want the franchise quarterback to get injured. Yeah, a few run plays, get him out in space, some rollouts, things like that. I want him to be a quarterback that can hit those targets. And I know not everybody hits the deep pass all the time. It's a high risk pass, but you have to hit them when you take that risk, because if not, it's just the probability of getting down the field just becomes much more difficult, because now you're second and 10, third and 10, whatever it may be, because you missed that big opportunity that you had. That's where I want to see it.
Well, stop it. Leave our guy Bo Nix alone. That's what Michael and I are saying, Tom. Leave him alone. It's not Bo's fault. Michael Ronquillo, the Ronk. What's up, Mike? Hopefully you and yours are doing well out there in AZ. Good evening, Thomas and Luke on the Mile High Insiders. Go Bo Broncos. Yeah, man, I've got more of a problem with the receivers not being in the spot where they need to be for some of those deep balls. But you're right, Tom. This is a business where quarterback's the most important position, right? You got to hit it. It ultimately falls on Bo. I've got a bigger problem with Bo Nix potentially taking a sack, throwing off of his back foot in what could have been a disastrous moment for the Broncos, Tom. I'm getting ready to fight you just a second ago and be like, dude, say what you want about Bo and the overthrows. He's making smart decisions. And then I glance at my notes and I'm like, dumb decision, dumb bleeping decision. Almost lost you the game. And that's the competitor in Bo Nix. I think sometimes he is guilty of overanalyzing things a little too much, and maybe him and Sean share that quality. But I'm with you, Mike. I'm excited about Bo Nix. I truly think the Broncos have their quarterback of the future, their franchise guy. But Mike doesn't think so. He's like, look, man, I'm not sold. I want him to be the guy, but he's not there yet. What's it going to take, Broncos country? What's it going to take for me to forgive Vance Joseph for his sins years ago? What's it going to take for Bo Nix to have a signature defining career moment? Because I wrote about it. One of my takeaways, milehighhuddle.com. Bo Nix got a signature win in Philly, and it's ultimately a team sport. Bo Nix and the offense don't do what they do without Nik Bonitto, Pat Surtain, Jonathan Cooper, that Broncos defense. I'm impressed, Tom, because it feels like we're building some momentum, if you will.
I'd like to go back to something you said about Tim taking too many risks. And I used to hate it when Peyton Manning knew he was going to get sacked and he'd just fall down. And it was like, it bothered me. But the thing of it is he would live to fight another day. Basically, there was another down. And I remember John Elway, he thought every play he had to win. He had to win. And early in his career, he had to make every play count. And, if it wasn't there, he was going to force it. And he was not, he had all the talent in the world, but statistically, and, he was not a very good quarterback until Jim Fassel came on board and taught him that there's another down. You don't have to risk it all just because, it's second and 10. And his later part of his career, he became an incredible quarterback. And he was one of the, few that had such a great career, steady, great career that long into, after his, the early 30s. And so when I think about that, like Bo Nix needs to be able to do that too. That's what's going to make him a better quarterback, is know that you shouldn't force something. You shouldn't take a huge risk. Learn to live to play another down. Don't throw it into a spot that you're going to get intercepted, and, try again the next play. And if it doesn't work out, you punt and you let your defense take over. That's, those are the things that he has to learn. He's only in his second year. So he's shown the improvement. He's shown things that make me think he's going to be there. He's just got to do the little things a little bit better than what he's been doing.
I haven't thought about Peyton Manning's self-sack. Like, self-sack happened, Tom. You were right, man. Talk about cringeworthy. I mean, could any other quarterback get away with that? I mean, I start to think about it, right? And I'm just like, have I ever seen that? No. But remember how terrified we were for Peyton to get hit? We were almost cheering it. I think everybody, right? We're like, go down, do whatever you got to do. Don't touch our guy, right? Could you imagine how enraged Peyton must have been going through film with his guys in the O-line the very next day? Being like having to put himself on the ground. It took Peyton 10 seconds to fall to the ground, by the way. I mean, it was just one of the most unathletic things ever. Only Peyton Manning could get away with that. But you're right, Tom. I mean, it's about taking those next steps and trying to improve and take ownership over your team. And I think Bo's got that right now. I think Bo has the respect of his teammates. I think his guys believe in him. And I think you saw maturation in real time with the Broncos and the Eagles. And now it's on them to not screw it up against the Jets. I mean, really, this is a big test for me. I know a lot of people are writing it off, and it's tough, right? For me, it's tough to get up in the morning on Sunday morning, right? No, it's not. I'm ready for football. I know London thing's not my forte or cup of tea, if you will. See what I did there? But I think that this Jets team is in for a rude awakening. There's a reason they're over. They've got, talk about yelling and screaming. They've got a head coach in Aaron Glenn who likes to yell and scream, and nobody's responding over there. You've got Justin Fields, who's having a hard time. And everybody's getting, look at his completion percentage. Hasn't thrown an interception. He's got 3 fumbles. He turns the ball over. I don't want to hear it. Okay. I don't. Now, the Broncos can get embarrassed in London. And if they do, can you imagine, Tom? Can you imagine the plane ride home? You think Sean Payton was yelling at Russell Wilson last year in Detroit? Just wait. And if the Broncos lay a goose egg in London. And I loved that somebody had the stones to ask Bo about it and the trap game today, and Bo coming out and being like, no, that's disrespectful in this league. You can't do it. The Broncos were the trap game for the Eagles last week. They know all too well things can go south quickly.
Here's the thing, though. The Broncos are not a trap game for anybody. They're a solid football team. They are 2 last-second field goals away from being undefeated. This is a good football team. I was a little worried after that Colts loss because the defense kind of fell apart. But this is a good football team. Good football teams rarely go and lose to the bad football teams that they are not supposed to lose to. The team they've got a good focus. I think they've all bought in. They have good leadership on this team. I don't know. The only way that they lose this game is if for some reason they let Justin Fields and Breece Hall run all over them. Otherwise, this is a win for the Broncos and win pretty easily in my mind. I think it's going to be a blowout.
Blowout. Man, that would be nice. That means things are humming for the Denver Broncos, a potential 3-game winning streak coming back home to the Mile High City for the MHH meet and greet against the Giants. And Casey Nickel, what's up, Casey? It's been a minute, man. 1999, a very generous super, an exclusive member of our MHH community. Casey's been with us for years, rocking on MHI since we started way back on Saturday nights, dude. Casey's been in the trenches with us. Bo is our franchise quarterback without a doubt. Last year, he started slow and then almost broke the rookie touchdown record. You're seeing that momentum already get better every game. Bo raises all ships. Bo leave 31-10 Broncos. Man, I want both. I'm with it, Casey. I want to see Jarrett Stidham play on Sunday against the Jets in London. Casey, get me fired up for some Jarrett Stidham, who, by the way, congratulations, right? Didn't Jarrett Stidham just become a dad? I think I saw that on social media. Jarrett took some time away just real quick to witness the birth of his child, and congratulations. Welcome to the best club on the planet, man. Parenthood is absolutely awesome. A huge congratulations to Jarrett Stidham. But I'm with you, Casey. I believe in Bo. I don't make excuses for Bo. He drives me nuts just like Sean does, but it's when the guys, you stop caring, that you lose faith in some of these people in some of these games. And just look around the league, and we remember what that felt like, Casey. Remember what it felt like to be a franchise, I don't know, like the New York Jets, like the Arizona Cardinals, like the New Orleans Saints. It wasn't that long ago. So we are starting to attach ourselves to the idea of this team could be special. I absolutely love it, Casey. I'm with you. Bo is our franchise quarterback. Tom, where do you fall? Is Bo the official franchise quarterback for your Denver Broncos, or do you need to see something else?
I don't. I've already said I think he's the franchise guy. I saw the improvement last year. It's the little things that he has to work on to get better. And with his work ethic, with the coaching staff that's around him, I think he can. It's just he sometimes gets away from those small things that, he was doing better last year as the season went along. It seems like he's doing a little better. But, there's a little thing, and it's the same with this team. And I wrote about it. There's small things that you have to be aware of and you have to fix if you're going to be a championship team. Bo has to do it, and the whole team has to do it. They have to go out there and think like a champion, right? And get it drilled into their head. And that's what Bo Nix needs to do. I've seen enough. He can make all the throws. He doesn't have a monster arm, but he can make all the throws that are necessary. He's a good decision maker. He fits really well in this offense. Sean Payton's not going anywhere. This offense going to be around him for a while. I don't see why he doesn't get even better as the couple years down the road. They're going to be talking about him as one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I don't know if he's got the elite talent. Like, I don't think he's like a John Elway, Dan Marino type of guy, but he's going to be very good and be the franchise guy for several years.
Well, I hope he's not a Dan Marino type of guy, because that'll mean he'll never win a Super Bowl. And I've got issues with that. I'm with you, Tom. I see where you're going there, right? Like, you can't crown him, right? He's still putting those pelts on the wall. Right now, he's got what? I grew up hunting, but we filled the freezer, right? We didn't fill the wall, so I never really understood that. But to each their own, right? I mean, right now, if you're looking at Bo's wall, he's got a couple rabbits up there, maybe a nice buck. We don't have that trophy buck yet. We don't have that trophy elk. We don't have, we don't have the big moosey sitting up there just yet. Bo's working on it. And I see you, Todd, 34-17, man. Predictions are going to be tough just because scoring and the numbers and being able to predict these games, man, it's absolutely wild when you go back and you just analyze your pick 'em for the week and you look at the upsets and you look at how many road teams won last week in the NFL, Tom. It truly is the league of parity. It makes it very, very fun. Jarrett Stidham, I should say, by the way, since having his kid, he did rejoin the team over in London, and it's cool, man. It's cool to see that the Broncos take care of their own guys. I think they're all in on Sean Payton. Tom, you're all in on Sean Payton. If you're all in on Bo Nix, you're all in on Sean Payton. Can you finally give me my credit when I said that Sean Payton was the right man to coach this football team? Because as much as I love Sean, Tom, and you know it, I'm a Sean Payton guy. He drives me nuts because I think he gets in his own way. You couldn't find a happier member of Broncos country than yours truly on Sunday, because I think Sean going for it all, showing massive huevos, proved to his team he's not just talking about it. He is about it. Follow me. It's something we say on this show every week to close. This is the way.
Yeah, he didn't play it safe, and a lot of people will. But he doesn't, and it paid off. Now, if it didn't pay off, people would be like, oh, it was a terrible idea, terrible mistake that he made.
Yeah,
it paid off. And when it pays off, just like the deep balls, when you hit those deep balls, it changes everybody's opinion. Bo Nix would have a completely different stat line if he hit several of those deep passes he did. So when you take those risks and they work out, it's awesome. And sometimes you have to take those risks. You're in Philadelphia against the reigning Super Bowl champs. You have to take a risk, and he did. It paid off, and ended up winning the game for him, basically.
Broncos country, you've been super active tonight, so active that I've ignored my responsibility of getting to the injury report, Tom. We got 10 minutes, one final segment to go here, and I got to get to our official injury report. Now, here's something I do like about the Broncos playing in London. I got the injury report super early today, right? We usually get it in the afternoon, the evening. Oh, man, this thing came through hot, late morning. I absolutely loved it. Nik Bonitto's on there. He was full with the wrists. No worries. Alex Singleton, your guy, Tom, still dealing with a thumb injury. Full. Limited today. Tyler Bidet, running back. DJ Jones, chest. Malcolm Roach, welcome back. Calf. 2 guys didn't practice. Obviously, Ben Powers, who's dealing with that bicep injury, had successful surgery in Denver on Monday, I believe. Talk to me about Jonah Ellis, Tom. Jonah Ellis got banged up. Outside linebacker, ribs/shoulder, did not practice for your Broncos today.
Well, I hope he's available for the rotation, because he's a valuable rotational piece.
Yes, he is.
It'd be nice to see him get back, but I really like Tillman too. DeAndre Tillman is a good rotational piece as well. So if Ellis can't go, you go with a little bit different rotation. You probably activate Savion Jones, get a little bit more pass rush from the inside rather than having that rotation all on the outside. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's it's a wait and see. Maybe he gets some treatment and he's back out there. We'll see. But it's good to see Malcolm Roach is back. I'm happy for that. That's a big one. I mean, he's the run stuffer. He's that big run stuffing guy that we were surprised at how good he was at doing it last year. It's good to see him back because he hasn't played a single game. So hopefully they're not going to ease him in and they'll activate him against the Jets, because the Broncos need to stop the run.
I completely agree with you, man. It couldn't come at a better time, like a get-right game, if you will, with the Jets, right? And we need to get right in those trenches. We need to stay healthy. You've got an incoming Broncos offensive lineman yet to be named, right? Probably won't find out till Friday or Saturday, really, who we're looking at as the starter at right guard next to Mike McGlinchey, Tom, who, by the way, has been playing quite well. Very surprised. I've been very critical of Mike McGlinchey since he joined the Denver Broncos, specifically for his penalties, false starts, holding. Broncos tackles, say what you want about them. They're being extremely efficient right now, and I'm very excited about that because we don't have to worry about good old Garrett Bowles holding number 72. We don't hear that anymore. Remember those days, man? Good Lord, have the Broncos come full circle. And Phil McLaughlin, I see you, Phil. What is up over on Facebook? Coming back again, guys. Again, we really appreciate all of the super chats, the Facebook stars. Remember, if you cannot donate, donating your time is truly the most valuable thing. We appreciate any donation you can give us, but we got lots of eyes on us tonight on these Wednesday nights, and we have a lot of fun on this show. Phil is coming in fast and furious. Let's face it, Bo is still a rookie. When he learns to step up in the pocket instead of going backwards, he needs to learn to throw the ball way quicker when in trouble. Then he needs to plant his feet on the deep throw and get more accurate. He's smart. I think these things will be corrected. Well, I don't think he's a rookie, and I don't think he's taken a step back, Phil, but you're right. He needs to improve. It's not good enough yet. And I think Bo would be the first to tell you that. And can we just appreciate Bo Chapman Nix for a minute and the way he handles his business? I don't see Bo on Twitter. I don't see Bo, all the attention, give me the cameras. I don't see him dropping one-liners that get on ESPN or NFL Network. I don't see him trash talking fans, although I loved it. I don't know if you saw Baker Mayfield in the Seattle.
I did.
I absolutely loved it. And I got to say, I was not a Baker Mayfield fan at all coming out of Oklahoma. I did not think he would survive in this league. Didn't think he had the tools. Boy, was I wrong, because he's a lot of fun to watch with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I'm not going to say I'm a fan, but watching Baker talk all kinds of smack to the Seahawks fans and chirp them at the end too, and watch what this Buccaneer squad's doing. It's fun, but I think Bo Nix likes to have fun in his own right. I think he likes to have fun behind the scenes, a lot like Peyton Manning did earlier in his career. Remember, we didn't see the personality of Peyton Manning truly come out towards around Denver and the end of his career. Yeah, he had a couple funny Saturday Night Live skits, right, when he was with the Colts, but Saturday Night Live hasn't been funny for like the last 40 years, if we're being honest. So Peyton let his hair down when he became a Denver Bronco, and I think Bo likes to do that too behind the scenes. I think Bo loves his guys. He trusts his guys. He has a very private life outside of football. And I love it because it means he stands on business. And when Sean's saying, we're not going to do any sightseeing in London, we're here to work. I think Bo Nix is all about it too. Let's get in, get out, 2-week business trip and fly back to the Mile High City. These guys have been on the road for a long time, Tom. And I can't imagine the task it takes for a road game in the States, for the equipment managers, the personnel, the staff, everything that goes into getting the Broncos to Philadelphia. And then you've got to pack for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to get on a plane and go to London. It's a lot, man. And thank God we've got the Walton Penner ownership group who spares no expense, because you will not see the Broncos like Joe Flacco flying in coach anytime soon.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope they're, making sure that this team is comfortable. Going to Bo, man, it's not just that he's got a private, kind of private life. He's not out there trying to get in the spotlight as me guy. He goes out there and he is a leader, and this team is bought it. He accepts blame when it's when the team doesn't do well, and he gives praise to others when the team does well. He doesn't say, "Oh, I played really well and we end up winning." He is not like that, and that's a sign of a good leader. It's a sign 100%. Of a person who is going to go out there and do what it takes to win. And I like seeing that, and he's got the tools to do it. Obviously, he's got the work ethic, but that's what I like about him. He it's not that he, in this era when everybody wants the spotlight on them, he is making sure the spotlight goes to the other people when they play well. And that's important.
That was the first thing he said, Tom, when I forget who was interviewing him on the field, right? And the young lady asks him, Bo, talk to me about that fourth quarter comeback. The very first thing he says is, how about our defense played out of their mind? All right. Yeah. And I'm just like, special teams guys played out of their mind. Like, I'm just like, dude, and this isn't, and I've seen them and you've seen them. I hate to say it, but every NFL club is the same in the sense of, if you've got a quarterback that's ignorant, the little PR assistants are usually following them around with a clipboard, telling them what you need to say and what not to say sometimes, right? Like, hey, don't talk to this person. And if you do, here's the company line. I don't got to worry about that with Bo, man. And his teammates don't have to worry about that either. And I think you're starting to see that. And remember how horrible it felt for the defense to be carrying the offense's water year in and year out. That's changed in Denver, Colorado, the last 1.5 seasons, right? We're not even a half season and 1 and over a quarter. If you want to look at it, right? I don't know. That's changed. And that's the Sean Payton effect. That's the Walton Penner ownership effect. That's George Payton and his influence as well. But more importantly, this is Bo Nix, who exemplifies servant leadership on a day in and day out basis. And you talk about this, Tom, in the offseason quite a bit. You can't just have the same talking heads getting after you. George, Sean, the owners, you have to have it come from within. And I think this is an offense that can police themselves when you look at the team captains and Cortland Sutton, Quinn Miners, Bo Nix. And then you look at some other guys who've just gotten here who are already ascending to be leaders in Hufanga on the defense, J.K. Dobbins, who we dedicated almost a whole segment to on the show tonight. It's exciting because you're starting to see the pieces get there. And this league, it's crazy, Tom. I can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs. I haven't written those teams off by any stretch yet, because remember, the Broncos started extremely slow last year until they turned it on right about now. And anything is truly possible. You keep an eye on what's going on in the AFC West. But if the reports are true and the San Francisco 49ers want Max Crosby, I can't get him to San Francisco fast enough because these divisional games that are going to be coming up later down the stretch, Tom, they're going to be pivotal. And the Broncos facing the entire NFC East, we got to stack these wins in case some tiebreakers come up. As you know, Tom, that's one of the biggest points in the schedule too. The entire AFC West is playing what? The entire NFC East. And when you look at tiebreakers and the standings and the playoffs, these games are going to matter. The Broncos, they beat the Eagles. They've got dates with the Giants and the Cowboys and who else? The Washington Commanders football team, whatever the hell they're called. That's coming up down the stretch as well. So these games are important. You got to beat the Jets. It starts in Cheerio.
Well, I'm not writing off the Chiefs by any means, although I think they're on shaky ground. I'm writing the Ravens off. By the time Lamar Jackson comes back, they're going to be too far in the hole, because right now what it looks like you've got the Broncos and the Patriots are they're the two teams that you think, okay, well, can they move up the standings or drop off, right? I know the Chargers are within striking distance right now, so you might see that the Broncos surpass them pretty soon as the leader in the AFC West. But yeah, I don't want to write the Chiefs off. I mean, I want to, but I'm afraid to, because they've got a great coach, and that usually translates to turning things around. I don't think Mahomes is playing anywhere near way he used to play. I think he's living more on reputation than his actual play, other than he's able to scramble around and make some plays. So I think the Broncos are sitting in a prime spot. And that's why I mean this next stretch of games to the bye is going to be pivotal in getting them to an AFC West title and hopefully getting them into a position to have a good seeding going into the playoffs, because if they win these games that they're supposed to win, they don't falter, because they should be able to come to the bye at 9-2. I'm going to say it again. The way it's set up, 4 home games, a trip to London to play an 0-5 team, and the one road game is against a beatable Texans team. There's no reason why they can't stack these wins and set themselves up to be the leader going into the playoffs.
You got to jump ahead and you got to get some separation. Now's the time to do it. When you look at the Broncos schedule, that's essentially what you're saying. Like, there's no time like the present. You have to win these games. You have to get a little bit of padding, because things can go south with injuries. And remember, cold weather's coming. It's fall. It's October. Halloween's around the corner. Before you know it, we're into Thanksgiving and Christmas. And you can't tell me that cold weather doesn't affect injuries too. It's going to be interesting to see. I think I've got a lot of anxiety just because this is an international game. It's the Jets. Last year was an ugly game. The Jets and the Broncos have a little bit of history when you actually look at the two franchises. When you look at the commonalities of players that have come and gone. I can still remember Trevor Siemian, man, seeing ghosts on Monday Night Football against the Jets, man, in the Meadowlands. That is not the case as the Bo Nix led 3-2 Denver Broncos take on the winless Jets in London. Another fun show, Tom. We've been rocking and rolling every Wednesday night. We continue. We're building momentum just like the Broncos, man. These shows have been so much fun. They're cathartic for me. I hope they are for you and the rest of Broncos country, because what a fun team. What a fun point in the season, a fun time of year. Fall festivals are upon us and the Broncos are winning football. What else could you ask for?
More money, I guess. That's about it.
More money. Well, with more money comes more problems. At least that's what the BIG used to say. Guys, head on over to milehighhuddle.com. Tom's got a couple of articles up right now. Who should the Broncos trade for and what will take them to the next tier? Extra, read all about it. Yours truly, I've got my keys to victory coming out tomorrow morning, and you could read our roundtable prediction over at milehighhuddle.com on Friday morning as well. If you'd like to reach out to Tom over on X, please do so. That's at Thomas Hall NFL. Yours truly at Luke Patterson LP. Tom, I don't know if you saw this. They gave me a blue check mark, so I'm ornerier than ever over on X right now. I encourage everybody to come on over and reach out. Let's have some fun. Let's upset the AFC West. Broncos country, a fun show into London against the Jets. This is the way.
This is the way.